Guys, Judge Vanderbeek Court is now in session. Judge, this is case number JVB 1016, Cheney case. Judge, both parties have been sworn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You all may be.
Get ready, everyone. This story has some serious twists. Imagine heading out for a fun night, only to find yourself a year and a half later in a courtroom, facing unexpected drama over daycare bills, vanishing acts, and parental disputes. Mrs. Cheney says the father disappeared without a word. Now he's reappeared, asking for parental rights, but without stepping up to the real responsibilities. What's the truth? Is he a struggling parent trying to make things right, or someone cleverly avoiding accountability behind the label of being self-employed? Let's break it all down, because this courtroom battle is about to heat up.
A promotion, and everybody else left. It left us two. Had a little too much to drink. Anyway, I end up pregnant. He's completely out of the picture. Doesn't answer text calls, whatever. All of a sudden, he comes to me and says he wants to be a part of our kid's life. And I said, okay, well, you're going to have to give me child support. I'm not just going to let you all of a sudden be dad, you know? And
how old is the child?
He's 18 months.
So, after nearly 2 years off the radar, he suddenly wants to step back in as a dad, but without helping with the bills? That's a bold move. The judge isn't having it, and honestly, who can blame her? Raising a child isn't cheap, and being a parent takes more than just showing up when it's convenient. As Gen Z might put it, he's trying to co-parent on a budget plan that doesn't exist. What would you do if someone vanished after one spontaneous night and returned expecting all the rights, but none of the responsibilities?
Okay, continue.
Oh, I'm sorry. So he's like, well, I can't pay child support, but I'll pay the daycare bill. Daycare's $8.55 a month. Okay. He claims he only makes $24,000 a year. That adds up to almost half his income, if that's what he actually said. I mean, this is not the way a guy who lives a life of $24,000. I mean, that suit probably costs like, I don't know, half that or something.
He has a nice suit.
I shop clearance.
Okay.
I do pretty well on sales.
He shops on clearance.
Okay. I've never seen that suit at JCPenney, but all right.
Okay. So $855 a month in daycare. You say you make $24,000 a year.
$24,000 a year, that is
And
correct.
I do have his tax returns that he produced showing $24,000 a year, but you're self-employed.
He's claiming $24,000 a year, yet showing up in a freshly tailored suit? Something's not quite lining up, and let's talk about those self-filed taxes. Is he truly self-employed, or just boosting his own narrative? Even the judge is raising eyebrows. The numbers just aren't making sense. Meanwhile, Mrs. Cheney isn't buying it either. She suspects he's pulling a disappearing act with his finances. Is he genuinely struggling, or just acting broke to avoid paying his share?
And living expenses, they're shared between your roommates?
Pretty much we kind of split the groceries, things like that. Utilities get split evenly.
Okay. Well, then that kind of makes sense. So you're asking, what exactly are you asking for him to do?
My name's Naru Witherspoon. I'm an attorney, and I'm licensed in Illinois, Texas, and Missouri. I handle cases for families all over the nation. And I want to talk to you about Vonda Bailey. Vonda Bailey is...
Now he says he's splitting rent and ramen noodles with roommates, claiming he can't even afford basic necessities like toothpaste. But somehow, he's managing to cover $855 a month in daycare? Something's off. Either he's starring in his own extreme budgeting documentary, or he's figured out how to game the system. And here's the twist. That daycare money? It's actually child support. Let that sink in.
It seems kind of sketchy that he can afford almost $900 a month in daycare, but won't pay child support. I feel like there's something going on with the money situation. There's got to be a reason why he's doing things the way he does.
So you want him to pay $855 in daycare and child support?
I mean, he wants to be a part of his life.
That wasn't my question.
Okay.
Do you want him to pay $855 in daycare as well as pay child support on top of it?
She's not asking for anything outrageous, just a fair deal. But here's the real curveball. By law, he can't be forced to pay both daycare costs and court-ordered support at the same time. It's one or the other. The judge is spelling it out, and suddenly this case turns into a real-life lesson in family law. Now the big question is, should she find middle ground or hold firm and fight for what she believes is right?
A middle ground for you.
I guess we have to kind of discuss what would be child support versus daycare and how the parental responsibilities would change. Would he get them on weekends? Would he get them on holidays? Things like that. So,
Well,
because he doesn't live real close either, you know.
Well, we're here today, so let's discuss it. Like I said, he cannot pay daycare on top of child support. It just can't happen. So if
She's visibly overwhelmed, and honestly, who wouldn't be? It's her first time navigating the legal system, and she's doing it alone. No attorney, no legal guide, just raw emotion and gut instinct. The judge is starting to feel the strain, trying to keep things on track. Now it all comes down to this. Is she here to find a fair solution, or is this about settling the score?
What you can do, what you can't do, what happens with visitation and stuff like that. You know, he was absent the entire first year, completely absent. So I paid 100% of everything. You know, he was in the hospital after he was born. I took care of those bills.
and you didn't give her any money?
Not at that point, Your Honor, no.
What was the reason for that?
I was effectively in the same situation I am now. Again, being self-employed, my income has not gone up. There was a little bit of a disconnect.
18 months of silence, no money, no help, not even a single diaper. Now suddenly, he's back saying he wants to be part of the child's life. But timing matters, and his is way off. She's been carrying the weight alone, doing all the hard work without backup. And now he's asking for rights without offering any proof of responsibility. Let's be real. Accountability doesn't take a year-long vacation.
Well, he knocked me up and left for a year. So, I mean, there might be some other women out there
Wait a minute. In fairness,
that may not be able to count how many partners they've been with, but I know it was his kid.
In fairness, he wasn't alone in knocking you up.
I get that. And I
kinda
took
played
100%
a
responsibility
fair
for that
role in it.
child for a
Let's
full
not
12
blame
months.
it on him.
Okay.
Let's not blame it
Okay.
all on him. You have one child, correct? Okay, so let's stick to what is in front of us. We're not worried about any other children that may be out there.
And then, boom, she delivers a powerful one-liner. He got me pregnant and disappeared. She even suggests this might not be his first time pulling something like this. Tough words, but the judge quickly reins things in. She's not here for the theatrics. Her message is crystal clear. One child, one case. No time for rumors or side stories. Let's stick to the facts.
How much do you pay?
It's like 130 or something a month. It comes right out of my check, so I'm not sure the exact amount of it.
Okay, okay. I'm looking
130,
at
133, something like that.
I'm looking at what you also turned in. It looks like it's about $113.
13, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what we're going to do to make it fair, because he is paying about 3 times the amount that his child support should be.
Yeah, well, his bar bills are about the price.
And just like that, the number drops, $349. That's the official child support he's required to pay based on his reported income. But here's the twist. He's actually been paying $855. That's more than triple the amount. Turns out, he's been overpaying this whole time and didn't even know IT. So what's really going on? Is it generosity, guilt, or just a big misunderstanding?
55 plus the 113, it comes out to $968 a month in child support. So $968 would be all that he pays. And out of that, that would include whatever, if you change daycares, let me just make sure I'm very clear on this. If you change daycares and the amount goes up to $1,000, all he's responsible for is the $855 for the daycare. That's it. That's all you're responsible for.
Then the judge seals the deal. He's responsible for the daycare costs and reimbursing her for health insurance, a total of $968. This isn't just a ruling. It's a firm financial reality check wrapped up with a bow. And here's the kicker. If he wants to avoid paying that extra $113, there's a simple option. Put the child on his insurance plan, accountability, but with a clear choice.
Actually lowering it, or at least the two of us coming to some sort of agreement saying, you know, I'm already paying 45% of my salary. I've got to pay now $968 a month, which is, again, more than double. what I'm supposed to be paying in child support.
You've been paying, although it's 3 times the amount, you've been comfortably paying this. This isn't something that she necessarily, well, when I say comfortably.
Now he's feeling the pressure. Wait, nearly $1,000 to pay? Yep, that's right. And the truth is, you've been handling just fine living with roommates and ramen noodles. But the judge makes it clear. The law prioritizes the child's best interest and daycare expenses come first. Is it tough? Absolutely. But it's also the reality everyone has to face.
But based on what you all have been telling me, you've been paying daycare. It's $8.55. That would be in the best interest of the child to at least make sure that the daycare expense is covered. So, like I said, if you guys decide to come with something different, you can come back and modify that, and I'd be happy to enter in the number that you all come up with. Is there anything further today? Okay. Anything further?
No.
Okay. Well, there's nothing further. You all are dismissed.
So what just went down? A dad who disappeared is now paying nearly $1,000 a month, not as a penalty, but because the numbers add up. The judge wasn't here to punish, but to find balance. One side asked for support, the other shared their struggle. And in the end, the child wins. If this courtroom showdown hit you as hard as it did me, drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more real courtroom stories.